There's a famous economist and philosopher, I would say, named Thomas Sowell. And Dr. Thomas Sowell has written a lot of books. Actually, he's written over 40 books. The first part of his life I want to talk about is the fact that he got his PhD at 40 and then wrote 40 books after that. Thomas Sowell this year is going to be 95, God willing. He's at the Hoover Institution in California, Stanford University. What is Thomas Sowell's view on education? When it comes to efficiency and why do we do what we do, Thomas Sowell is your guy. Thomas Sowell knows what he's talking about. See, economists are very interesting people because they are very good with people in general in terms of understanding human behavior, but they're also good with numbers, right? So I call them the smartest people, right? Economists, because they can do both really well. See, physicists, we can do physics and all of that, right? I'm a medical physicist and I can do physics, but many physicists you might meet along the way might not do as well when it comes to working with people, right? Or understanding human behavior. And so even though there's a lot of people that are considered pretty smart, that are physicists, Albert Einstein, Isaac Newton, and so on and so forth, some of those guys did not do well with people. But economists, they do pretty well with people. Now, Thomas Sowell is an economist, right, from the University of Chicago. He studied under Milton Friedman, who won the Nobel Prize in economics. And these days, I'm really thinking a lot about economics because I'm trying to understand how to increase reduce poverty and help more people to flourish, right? Human flourishing. And Thomas Sowell has a lot to say about education, but he has a lot to say about public policy in general. And one of the things you will see about Thomas Sowell is that he wants people to master the thing that they're learning, right? Not just say that they know a thing, but have you mastered the thing? One of his books called Basic Economics is actually one of the textbooks that I integrated into my workbook structure. So I've written a few workbooks. So I've put together workbooks that follow textbooks, right? And one of the workbooks is called Economics Workbook for Everybody. So I have a workbook for calculus, a workbook for calculus 2, a workbook for algebra, a workbook for pre-calculus, and so on and so forth, right? There's a whole series. And I'll be making a video on my other channel, Counting to Calculus, going over all the workbooks and the textbooks that can help you. So for example, if you want to learn calculus, there's a free textbook that you can get online. And then there's a workbook you can get from Amazon from me. You put them together, you have your workbook space to write all the work out for the material you're learning from the textbook. And then at the end, I give you like all the rules of exponents and formulas to help you. But Thomas Sowell, I would say, has been a great inspiration. And some days I even think about life and realize, hey, I'm about 30, 37, and I'm not yet 40. And to realize that at the age of 40, in one sense, was the beginning of his journey. That's amazing. So I want to encourage you to check out Thomas Sowell, Basic Economics. We're going to talk more about basic economics. We'll talk about some of the more of the policy side here, but on my channel, Accounting to Calculus, is where I'll go into the actual details, the law of demand, the law of supply, the mathematics of and things like that relating to economics. The other book I use in my economics workbook is Adam Smith, The Wealth of Nations. So I would say that Thomas Sowell would be all for banning or dismantling the Department of Education. That's my view. What do you think? I think that's what his viewpoint would put out there. And then it'll make you wonder, okay, what does that mean if we, don't have a Department of Education? I really think parents need to take back full charge for their children's education. What is my child learning? Why is he learning this? Where's my child headed in life? Is he getting the best education possible? There is no reason for any child to be getting a mediocre education with the abundance of technology available around us today. There's no reason. What you need for your child is a good coach as a guide. Now, Thomas Sowell might not be able to coach your child in economics, but he has written a book called Basic Economics, and you can use that as a tool to help your child to learn basic economics. So we are walking into an era of finding tools to help our children flourish at the highest levels that they can flourish, and then helping them have a vision for their lives. And I call it vision-based education, and helping them go with that vision to be the best they can in those things. Now, if they want to go into STEM, especially math, computer science, physics, those are essential for most STEM fields. If you have those down, it doesn't matter where you pivot later on in life. And there are some fields that have a very low return on investment. So you ask yourself, well, maybe I should get a STEM degree or a degree that has a high return on investment while making sure that I learn the thing on the side that I might enjoy learning. There's a guy called Charlie Kirk who's written a book called The College Scam. There's another book that I just found yesterday also talking about this idea. Now, I would say that it's not necessarily a scam if you know where you're headed and why you're headed in that direction. So Charlie Kirk has some things for you to think about, as well as the other book I found, which I think is coming out today. It actually comes out today. It's College for Everybody. You know, do we need college, right? That's coming out. Essentially, that's the gist of the book. Harvard Education Press, I think, coming out today. And the author is, has wrote an article I was reading, and I just saw the book. So let's ask ourselves, or parents, ask yourself, is my child getting the best education possible right now? If the answer is no, my question is, why not? Why aren't you finding the resources available to guide your child in the different fields? Is your child connected to some of the best mathematicians out there? Is your child connected to some of the best chemists? Is your child connected to some of the best physicists? Even though they're attending a regular school, for example, or maybe they're homeschooled, I work with a lot of homeschool families. Even if they're homeschooled, connect them to mentors in the fields that your child might be interested in. So I love Thomas Sowell's material. We're going to talk about it more. And then I'm going to be addressing this issue. Is college for everyone? That's a question we'll be dissecting. Stay tuned. And lastly, I will just mention this, The Abolition of Man, C.S. Lewis. Check it out, as it will show you some very interesting things when it comes to education. So we have Thomas Sowell, we have Charlie Kirk, we have C.S. Lewis. What do they have to say about education? Check them out and stay tuned for more. Subscribe, like, and share this video. I look forward to seeing education change for the better in America, because it's really not good. The quality is not good enough. With the resources we have, we can do better. And I'm here to help families navigate the terrain. You can also look at our programs, our online tutoring programs that we have. Reach out to amosthemathguy.com, amosthemathguy.com, and you can sign up, and I'll follow up with you to see what program you're interested in, whether it's one-on-one, small group, or large group tutoring. We're building our tutoring database and growing our tutor network. So we'll get you a tutor to guide you from counting to calculus and beyond. Take care and have a blessed day.